My book for the book review was Brown versus Board of Education, A Civil Rights Milestone and Its Troubled Legacy. And essentially, the book was about the true impact of the Brown versus Board of Education on civil rights in our country. And the author is James T. Patterson, and he essentially makes the argument that it might not be as important as we might think in our country. We're always taught, and we're taught to believe through history classes and other things, that Brown versus Board of Education was this pivotal moment in American history, that things just changed for the better and civil rights were just immediately accepted by everyone, and just it was just this huge milestone event. Well, it was, but maybe not in the way that we're taught or think. In fact, after Brown versus Board of Education, there wasn't very many schools that automatically, especially in the South, and that's what it mainly was for the South, but mainly it didn't just go to everybody was integrated and everybody could share school and still have equal opportunity and equal rights. Of course, we needed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act, and so on. But the Brown versus Board of Education case was not essentially all that it has been cracked up to be. And so he goes into detail about key figures from the Brown versus Board of Education case, including Thurgood Marshall, who was the attorney for the African American families, or family, should I say. And he says, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't that milestone piece, essentially. So it just provides a lot of critical thinking and deep thinking for the reader, and is very targeted at people who are familiar with the outcome of the case, but not really the true impacts of it, essentially. I think it would be applicable for sixth grade history, and really any U.S. history that covers it. So 11th grade U.S. history, when you're focusing on civil rights and you're in that curriculum talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and others, it would be a good piece to enforce the knowledge that this might not have been as big of an event as you might think. I don't think that I would have to modify it too much. It's not too graphic or heavy. Provides critical thinking, but I would just have to be very careful about how I use it in the classroom, because I'm not trying to say that Brown v. Board did not have an impact or was not important or shouldn't have happened, but we might need to rethink how we teach it. That's all. So, I mean, in a lesson plan, I think that I could use it as trying to get the kids to see that yes, it was important, but it also led to this, this, and this. So while it might not have directly impacted integration, it was still an important stepping stone to get there. And maybe they could write about what the cause and effect, what were the causes of it and how did it affect American society. And thanks for listening.